Most businesses that go out of business, it wasn't necessarily because they were unprofitable. It was because of cash flow.
How do you guys come in and help them structure their books a little?
There's really three major fundamentals. And honestly, this is true for any service business. Gross margin, which is the difference between what you collect in revenue and what you pay for those things. That's number one, because you can manage your expenses as tight as you want. But at the end of the day, if you're not starting profitably, you're not going to end profitably. So gross margin is essentially the profit before your overhead. And then the other one is cash flow. So those are the two that doesn't matter what business you're in, those are the two most important things. And of course, cash flow is the most widely misunderstood and yet important metric or set of metrics in a business, period. Most businesses that go out of business, it wasn't necessarily because they were unprofitable. It was because of cash flow. I mean, that's why you see so many people who haven't been exposed to this gasp when a big company goes out of business. Like, oh my God, they were doing $100 million and they were profitable, or they were doing $100 million. How could they not stay in business? Well, they just didn't manage the cash flow well. So gross margin and cash flow are the two biggies for any industry. The third one, which is unique to our industry and other service businesses, is the concept of labor efficiency. The way we look at it is the financial efficiency of labor, which means the difference between the amount of money you're collecting as billed hours versus the amount of money you're paying, which is billable hours. And so the analogy that I've used to help people, and it really seems to land, is a fruit stand analogy. So here in California, we have fruit stands all over the place. They're like these little refrigerated carts with an umbrella, and you go and you pay them, I don't know, $5 or $10, and they catch you up some fresh sliced fruit. So every morning, these fruit stands, they go to the wholesaler and they buy pineapples, bananas, all this stuff, and they load it into their little cart. And then by the end of the day, they want to go home with how much fruit? They want to go home without fruit, because if they go home with fruit, that fruit goes wasted. And most people don't want day-old fruit. So I use bananas as an analogy. So if you think about every morning you're running a fruit stand and you go and buy a bunch of bananas, let's say you buy 10 bananas in the morning, for any of those bananas that you don't sell, it's waste. And that waste actually reduces the profit on the bananas that you did sell, right? Because no matter what, you bought 10 bananas. And so when you think about that from the frame of installers, every day, each installer, you're buying 8 hours of their time. They could nap for 8 hours, or they could work on a project for 8 hours. No matter what, you're buying 8 hours of time. Of those 8 hours, how many are you actually selling? And by selling, I mean you're able to collect revenue for, which means it's not travel time, it's not load in and out time, it's not warrant time, it's not labor overage where you're over. It's time you can actually bill for. So that's the difference. And that usually lands for people say, oh, shoot, I didn't realize every day I'm basically loading my shelves with a bunch of hours, and however many of those hours I can bill, I bill for. Now, it's not as pretty in our world, because our world, we're dealing with lots of projects and lots of stuff. It's not as easy buying, selling bananas, but the concept still holds true. That if I sell 5 hours or if I sell 8 hours, the profit on the hours that I sold is vastly different.